Hey, yo, this is the West Coast Crossover. I am JD.
And this is Jeremiah the Prophet. And this is the podcast where if your team ain't the Lakers, they're trash. And if your podcast ain't this, it's weak as fuck, bro.
Check us out, westcoastcrossover.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that other good stuff. But we got a special freestyle for you. Before we get into the game, give it to him, Prophet, right off of the rip.
West, y'all. You don't stop. Laker gang crossover, rock on. Suns tried hard, they got beat, dog. Jordan Clarkson, three-pointers, drop bombs. I'm Jeremiah, that's JD, y'all. Lake Show all day, that's our squad. Hit like, y'all. Subscribe, y'all, to westcoastcrossover.com.
You don't stop. Shout out to Tyson Chandler. I know you appreciate that one. You graduated from high school the same time we did with your old ass, bruh. Anyway, yo, we are coming to you today after a Laker victory. I'm happy to say Lakers finally in that drought. They went 1-3 on their recent 4-game road trip, closing it out with the Suns tonight. Finally a victory after 3 straight losses.
Finally a victory. Let's get it.
Let's get into it, man. Let's straight get into it, yo.
What happened?
I'll tell you exactly what happened, yo. After basically the Lakers were led by Jordan Clarkson. He was balling out all game. After a bad first half of the Lakers, they finally woke up, pulled away. They eclipsed the Suns 102-95.
Yeah.
There was almost a fight towards the end of the game. That was kind of cool. I damn near fell asleep in the first half, man. So let me just go ahead and power through that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Suns got off to a hot start, but, you know, they're the Suns, so they're trash. The Lakers were able to get back into it, despite the fact that everybody was missing shots to start the game for the Lakers. Anyway.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
After that fucking start, man, both them niggas was struggling from the field, except for Booker. He got on fire kind of early. But both them niggas were struggling from the field. 21-20 after the first. Lakers somehow managed to get the lead. Clarkson got hot, though, in the second quarter. Actually, he, scored the first 10 points for the Lakers.
He was
everybody else was whack. Yeah, he was the only one balling, man. Brick after brick after brick. Lakers went into halftime down by 1. They only shot 34% from the field. Suns were shooting 35% from the field. Outside of Jordan Clarkson and Devin Booker, everybody was being whacked. It was super boring to watch that first half, man. I was literally falling asleep, man. So luckily, though, things picked up a little bit in the third quarter. It was a little bit more action-packed. Brook Lopez stepped up, and he was balling out. Devin Booker remained hot for the Suns, but Jordan Clarkson kind of helped fuel a late run. The Lakers ended the quarter with a lead, 74-73. So, you know, things started heating up. You know, the fourth quarter was a toss-up, and they kind of went back and forth. And the Lakers all of a sudden just woke up towards the end of that quarter, and they went on a nice run. Defense tightened up, and Clarkson pretty much led the way to victory for the Lakers, man. I forgot what the final score was. You got that?
Yeah, we won 100-93, which brings us to 6-8 on the season, which does not sound nearly as bad as 5-9 would have sounded, man.
Facts, man. Plus, it doesn't sound nearly as bad. I'll take that if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season. Man, one thing that you might have noticed is the fact that I did not really mention Brandon Ingram, because that dude was pretty much ghost this game. I did not notice him doing shit. I don't even think he scored more than a couple buckets.
He ended up with 6 points. He ended up with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. Now, Luke Walton was playing him during the stretch in the fourth quarter when they were trying to pull away. And I kind of wondered why he was out there, because he hadn't been doing too much of anything. It had to be something defensive and just a matchup thing, I think. And one thing I noticed, JD, I would like to talk about, man, is that the rookies, Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball in this game, you didn't mention a lot about them, I guess, unless you were talking about them when you were talking about those broke shots, because they certainly looked like they were struggling at the end of a long road trip. Lonzo was pretty much out of it in his timid mode that he could be in, and Kyle Kuzma was kind of goofing up. He's only down for 1 turnover, but he had some plays that kind of made you scratch your head and say, "What you doing, young fella?"
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma was out there, honestly, to me. he was being kind of whack until he got it towards the end of the game. He hit a few timely threes, and it looked a little bit better for him overall as far as his final stat sheet goes. But for the rest of the game, he was highly ineffective. And I didn't get to Lonzo Ball because, one, he seemed to be absent while he was on the floor, and two, he was actually absent the entire fourth quarter. Yeah. He didn't step on the floor at all. Yep. And I'm not that surprised because, we usually talk about when his shot is not falling. We talk about how he's usually making an impact other places. And he wasn't really doing that like you noticed in the other games. He was just kind of non-existent out there, really doing nothing. A few turnovers here and there. Wasn't really doing that much on defense. His shot wasn't falling at all. No. So, man, I'm not upset at him not being out there, especially with Clarkson playing the way that he was. He was the only one bringing it from start to finish, and he was clearly the best player out there. So you kind of needed to have him out there. KCP was out there kind of fucking up, dog. I'm sorry. He had his moments, don't get me wrong, but he was doing a little bit too much as far as looking for his own damn shot.
Yeah, I would agree. He was gunning today. He certainly was gunning hard, but he also, one thing I was noticing today, as I was watching it with my son and my brother-in-law, it was a moment for us to break down film a little bit with my son, who's out on an injury right now. And we were really studying how hard KCP plays on defense, man. It's a whole nother level. And he was so active out there. It was great to see. But with the ball, man, I think he was wound up a little bit too tight. And he was trying to jack up every time he got the ball. He ended up with 15 points. But only on 33% shooting. He had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, but he had 4 turnovers. And that's probably what you were talking about. A lot of that goofing around that he was doing too much ended up in the other team's hand. As far as Lonzo Ball, I do agree. I think this is probably his worst game of the season. In my opinion, watching it, he looked like, he ended up with 7 points. He was 3 for 10 for shooting. He had he had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but he had 4 turnovers. He two steals. Normally he has a much better assist to turnover ratio than 5-4. So that was not a good look for him today. Another person who wasn't as available or wasn't out there as much as I might have thought he would have been is Julius Randle. He only played 18 minutes this game, and down the stretch they weren't using him.
Nah, man, he wasn't as effective, and maybe it was something having to do with that just being the last game of the road trip, and a lot of teams around the NBA seem to pack it in on that final game before they head back home. That might have been the case for the Lakers today. Julius Randle brought a bit of energy off the bench to begin with, even though he really wasn't scoring that effectively, but he was still out there kind of bullying people and doing his thing, drawing fouls. But, Julius Randle just a tad bit off, considering how he's been playing for the Lakers as of late.
But I do got to say, when we're talking about the people who did their thing, of course, we have Jordan Clarkson. He had 25 points on 11 for 19 shooting. That's 58%, man. He was balling out there. 43% from the three-point line. He had, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He didn't pass a lot. He was looking to gun for his, and we needed it tonight.
We definitely needed it.
Shout out to Jordan Clarkson for that tonight. And 2 other people I definitely want to shout out is Corey Brewer.
Facts.
Dude. And on the defensive end, I got to go with KCP too. Those are 2 things that I wrote down in my notes. Them dudes were swarming all over the place, man. And between Lonzo's ineffective shooting, Kyle Kuzma kind of being off his game a little bit, Brandon Ingram not having a strong game, those 3 players were playing, very, very, very staunch defense, and they were all over the place. There was a one play that Corey Brewer guarded all 5 people on the floor and got and scrambled for got on the floor twice on one possession. I believe it. Really something to see. And he had a hell of a game, man. He actually ended up with 13 points on 5 for 7 shooting, man. 71% from the field. He was very effective.
He was balling. He was balling. Man. He was definitely out there balling. And when you could tell the difference when he was out there. It was just one of those moments where he had a game where you could see his impact. It was actually tangible. So definitely appreciate the effort from him. I definitely had him as one of the ballers of the game. Also, Brook Lopez, he helped the Lakers kind of sustained during some tough times when nobody else could hit a shot, along with Jordan Clarkson. He finished with a nice little line. He didn't get too buck wild in the beginning of the game like he's been prone to do. That was actually KCP this game in the first quarter, jacking up all kind of shots. But Brook
he was
Lopez,
lucky he
man,
was hitting some of those, huh?
Yeah, he was very lucky, man. He hit a number of lucky shots. He hit 4-9 from 3, but he was only 1 of 6 from 2. And man, missing layups and all that other stuff. So he kind of tried to mask his bad shooting game by hitting timely shots, like I said. But he ain't fooling me, bro. I'm still down on him.
You ain't buying it, huh?
Nah, man. Nah, not at all.
Well, when we're talking about people who are doing their thing on this game, particularly tonight, we have to give a shout out to the other guy on the other squad, punk ass Devin Booker, man. Wasn't he lighting us up, dude? That guy was looking like Kobe out there, dude. He was shooting some horrible shots that were just killing us with, man.
What did he end up with, man? Because for a second, I thought he might go for like 45 or 50 against the Lakers because he was lighting up everybody trying to guard him. It was, ugh.
Yeah.
Nasty.
He had, he went for 36 on 14 for 27 shooting, from 14 of 27. He had 52% from the field. So, I mean, he was shooting some very difficult shots, dog. If we was on 2K, he got that difficult shots badge today, my nigga. In one game,
it looked like he was lighting them up.
Oh man, he was in the Mamba mentality. That is for sure. And evidently his coach over there, they got a green light for him. They have an interim coach, since they fired my man, Earl Watson. And I guess that guy said Devin Booker can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Hey, I would say the same thing. Have you seen the rest of the lineup? Trash.
Yeah. Hey, you want to talk about these guys, bro? Because I mean, I saw a lot of trash out there, my dude.
Hey, you know I ain't for the half stepping, so let's get right to the roasting session. Get him!
First things first, we have to get the nigga Josh Jackson, dog. Okay.
Get that nigga!
Dude, Josh Jackson with his big natural, dog. He looked like somebody mama picking him up from school when they in trouble, dog.
Hell yeah. In trouble every minute of his life.
Don't he look like one of the mean ass mamas that works graveyard and never let the homie go out nowhere without his badass younger siblings and shit, dog?
To tell on him just in case. Get him!
That nigga nostrils opened in a motherfucker, bro. Nigga, you better not ever try no drugs that involve you inhaling shit, nigga. Because for sure, your heavy breathing ass gonna overdose on sight, my nigga.
Straight through the brain. Get him!
One more thing, my dude. Josh Jackson, you are the one nigga in the league that cannot get jokes on Lonzo's shot, nigga. Did you see his shot?
No. Yes, this nigga's shot is absolute garbage. I was
that is broke, dog. Like Lonzo's, you could look at it and be like, what the hell are you doing? But Josh Jackson, I don't know. I don't even understand it. I think it's different every time. Nigga, his shot looked like he got ADHD, dyslexia, a bad hip, a stuttering problem, and restless foot syndrome.
That shot is bad from start to finish. All of
Lonzo, Josh Jackson and Lonzo both need to go see a witch doctor, nigga.
Super shot rehab, bro. Yeah.
Man, but I know you got jokes on somebody, my nigga. So you get them, nigga.
I ain't really got that many, except on doughy ass Devin Booker. This nigga Devin Booker kind of looks like Salt from Salt and Pepper, and that motherfucking light skinned dude from the Fat Boys.
Yeah, he do. The one that wasn't so fat.
Right. The one that wasn't always like he always looked like he had a chance to get back to average at some point. He looked like their love child or something. And
he looks like Marsha Ambrose, nigga, from Floetry.
Marsha Ambrose, nigga. I thought you were going to say Marsha Warfield because of his haircut. Because his haircut looks like a combo of Salt and Pepper and that light skinned nigga from the Fat Dudes as well. And my nigga OJ was pointing out that he has that shit kind of goes up in a mohawk, but he brushes it back. He's one of those brush your afro back and he rolls.
Has nobody got the memo that afros are not to be brushed? Nigga, has nobody got that?
Back, all that does is make that nigga's light skinned ass look like Pac-Man in the face, bruh.
You know my rule, dog. Sorry, shout out to my boy Travis Reed. I know you're a listener and you're a baller, dog. But other than Travis Reed, I don't trust no niggas with freckles. It's just a thing of mine.
Oh shit.
Anyways, man, the Suns. We ain't gonna talk bad. I'll tell you who I won't talk bad about, even though he old as fuck. But that's the last thing I'm gonna say. Though nobody else better not say nothing bad about Tyson Chandler, because he's from the West Side, San Bernardino, where I was born.
No.
West Coast crossover. Like to send actually a shout out to my nigga Tyson Chandler, because although you're stranded out there in hot ass Phoenix with all kind of racism and fucked up cactus,
and a lot of ex inland empires as well.
Yeah. With a lot of the people that were so poor they couldn't even hang out in San Bernardino. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's all bad out there in Phoenix. So we'll leave you alone and wait for you to come on back to SoCal and party with your boys out here on the West Coast crossover. So who are we seeing? I already know who we seeing next, man. What time is that game?
That's the 76ers, right?
The 76ers, dog. I've been waiting to see them.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to see them too. I wanted to see Markelle Fultz, but I know he's all broke up, just like his shot is, and I don't think he's going to be playing for a while. But the Lakers play them on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at Staples. They're back at home. They got a nice little, I think it's a 4-game home stint they got coming up.
Yeah,
so they got a bunch of winnable games coming up too. They got the Sixers. They got these punk ass Suns again. They got the Nuggets. Did they beat them? No, the Nuggets served these. Never mind.
Yeah, about to say, don't
anyway,
have them in there.
And then they got the Bulls, so they can go 3-1 in those 4 games. As far as I can see, kind of make up some ground and maybe hover around that 500 mark. Who knows?
Hey, that would be real dope. But I'm gonna tell you right now, shout out to Coach O at Citrus Valley High School out here in Inland Empire.
Shout out to you, Coach O.
Because he is not a Laker fan. He is, in fact, a 76ers fan. And he would be rolling around in his car right now listening to us if we did not mention that Ben Simmons is balling over there. And they are not nobody to fuck around with over there.
He is the clear leader for Rookie of the Year, and he's leading a resurgence for the Philadelphia 76ers. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, so, and they are no rollover. They're no slouches. They over there causing some damage in the East. They are right at 500 right now, 6-6. And they got not only Ben Simmons running the show over there as a point guard, but they also have Joel Embiid talking shit, trying to fight niggas, dunking on people, man. I can't lie, dog. I like Joel Embiid, bro.
Hey, Joel Embiid has all that potential to actually become the best center in the NBA if he's able to stay healthy and he puts together an entire season and he keeps progressing the way that he is. He's a monster down there.
Hey, but Joel Embiid, I know you like to talk a lot of shit. I know you be all on social media. I'm just going to say, don't start with the West Coast crossover, nigga, because I got jokes all up in the holster for you and them lips, nigga.
We got something for you.
Don't even start, bro.
Over,
I like you, bro. I know you talk a lot of shit, though, so don't get it started.
We like it, but we'll roast you.
We will do it. Nigga, we roast Lakers, nigga, so you know we'll roast your ass.
That's right. And so, anyway, so that's what's up. That's what the Lakers got coming up, man. What's happening? What's up next?
Man, I just want to give out a couple shout outs, man, to all of our new listeners, dude. We've been having a lot of people chiming in on the West Coast Crossovers Facebook page, our Instagram, Twitter, and atting us all over the Twitter sphere. So we appreciate y'all. And we just want to give a couple shout outs. Maybe, I don't know if you got something in the mailbag that you want to talk about, but there are quite a few people that's been really engaged online with us, man. One is my dude, John Russell Lunt. He's been posting with us and chopping it up and having some great things to say. And so we want to shout you out, my dude.
Yeah, shout out. And he used to be a teacher, and he was a substitute, and he actually taught at a school that Tyson Chandler was at. I was reading that earlier. Mm-hmm. So shout out to him, man. Appreciate you also interacting on the page. That's been real cool. You've been real active. We definitely appreciate that. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we do definitely appreciate that. We have also my man Tommy Thompson. He's on there every day, man, and he's up and down. My man, I know Tommy personally, man, and he's passionate about the Lakers, so he be up and down about, oh my God, Lonzo's trash. The shot is broke. Oh, I hope he becomes the savior of the Lakers. Oh, we need to hurry up and get these dubs. And he really, to me, signifies all of Laker Nation. You know what I mean? Because we're anxious and ready for the Lake Show to be back on top. So definitely shout out to you.
Facts. So shout out to you and shout out to everybody else too that's rolling with us here on the West Coast Crossover. We definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to get active on the Facebook group page. Send us your questions, whatever you want us to address on the show. We'll be happy to do that. And man, before we get out of here, you got anything else?
One more thing that I would like to talk about for a short moment is Lonzo's shot.
Let's talk about it. Everybody else is.
Right. Before we go, Derek Blake Smith asks, what do you guys think? There's lots of talk about Lonzo's shot and how he cannot get it up on the right side of his face, and that it makes him easy to defend. Do you think he needs to rebuild it and break it down all the way from the ground up? I would like to point to the recent studies that have been done for jump shooting. Once again, I coach a little bit AAU, and I coach high school, and I train my son. And I've been doing that, training him in shooting since he was about 3 years old. I've always tried to model his shot after the, traditional pure shooting form of someone's like Ray Allen. He's someone that we looked at a lot growing up. I also looked at Carmelo Anthony's shot as far as his upper body form and stuff. And it's pretty much straightforward the way people would expect a good shot to look. However, as the years have gone by and we've done more and more research and I'm reading books, we're into this, you know what I mean? And we found that studies such different people such as one of Rick Barry's sons have done they figured out that if your release is proper and you have the proper amount of arc on the ball and you have the proper footwork and landing, that it doesn't matter pretty much how you shoot, which would support why people like Larry Bird with his weird behind the neck shot, Dirk Nowitzki, Reggie Miller, Sean Marion, all were actually wet, right?
Yeah.
All of this is to say that to shoot with any form can be proper as long as it is completely duplicatable, right? They can do, I don't know if I'm making up a fucking word.
Yeah, they can replicate that.
You can replicate it every single time,
right? And
you can fine tune the small nuances to make sure you're maximizing what you get out of that shot. Anybody's form can be fine as long as you finish it right. Lonzo's shot's finished right. It's worked for him his whole life. And if anything needs to be tweaked in it at all, it would be just that, in my opinion, just tweaked to be able to, have a more consistent result. What do you think, Doc?
Well, I've said that actually before, is that I'm not so stuck on his form, because when I first saw him shoot, the thing that I noticed was how the ball flies when it leaves his hand toward the rim. And that looked good. It looked like a shooter.
It didn't have. It doesn't have a weird spin, right? If it's coming, it's coming from the left side of his face, but it's not spinning like the earth on an axis. It's actually
it's not that Tim Hardaway knuckleball type weird shot. But when you see the form, it is kind of weird if you want to look at it from a technical aspect. But again, I usually tend to look at shots from how the ball leaves the hand, and his shot was kind of floating to the rim a lot better when he was in college. So I'm not a proponent of changing the shot. And plus, I don't think you want to do that in the middle of a season, because if he's already having some mental issues shooting the ball, I don't think adding a change in shot is going to help that at all. It's going to just add to that. So I think go ahead, let him shoot this way for the remainder of the season. See if he can shoot his way out of it, basically. Because if he's meant to shoot this way, that he should basically get comfortable at the NBA level and be able to hit that shot on a regular basis. And if you're going to tinker with it at all, do it in the off season. Worry about this. That way you can get some reps up without having to be in actual in-game competition, and he can actually change his shot, hopefully, if that's what you guys plan on doing, then, instead of trying to do it during the middle of the season, because I don't see that working at all anyway. So you kind of got to ride with what's going on right now, because I think he can hit that shot. He's shown it.
Yeah. Now, if you have a shot that you have duplicated and you've been successful with for a long period of time, I don't agree with messing with it at all. I mean, for the most part. All right. And there, I read a story about how he developed that shot, because he is left eye dominant, which happens to a lot of right-handed shooters. Sometimes just because you're right-handed doesn't mean that you are right eye dominant. So he's bringing it over to the left side so that it can be more square to where he would aim from. If you imagine shooting down a gun sight, right? He's the type of guy who would squint his right eye and look down there with his left, but shoot with his right hand, you know? And so it just makes sense that he brings it up towards the middle, and that's just part of the way he's going to get down, most likely. I think even if you mess with it in the off season, man, if you really try to rebuild it all over again, you'd be starting all over like Shaq. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, you diving down deep into it, because I didn't even know all that. And that, I mean, you know what? And from a biological standpoint, that would have to be something that you would factor in there, even if you did want to entertain the idea of changing that shot, because that, like you said, is actually something that's very important. Probably isn't thought about, you know, before in history when people have changed their shot, and it's probably jacked them all up for a reason like that. So you're right.
Now, if your shot is inconsistent, you do a different shot every time, then you still need to learn a shot. You know, I believe in Josh Jackson's case, he's never been a consistent shooter. That was the knock on him in college. It's just that, well, you know, if he ever figures out how to have a consistent shot, he'll be good. But everything else is nice, right? And so in his case, it wouldn't be that you're giving him a whole new thing. You're just making him do something consistent. Like, hey, dude, this time your elbow's out, nigga. This time you stopped in the middle of it. You know, we got to pick one, nigga. You know,
you out here looking like Charles Barkley with the golf swing.
Right. So yeah, man. Shout out to Derek Smith once again, and we both agree that it may need to be tuned. Everybody's shot needs to be tuned, you know, but his shot probably needs a little more tuning than others, but you definitely don't want to just break that down in the middle of the season and have you starting some new shit.
Yeah, and I think still, man, the thing that needs to tune in the most is in between the ears, man. He got to get his mental right to get his shot going. So we'll see how that goes with that dude moving forward. You got another one, my man?
Well, while we talking about people's shots, nigga, what's wrong with Brandon Ingram's shot? His shot looks great. And this nigga ain't shooting no better than Lonzo is right now today. I mean, no, but last year, really, his shot he was missing a lot of shots last year, and he has spells this year where he misses shots where you're like, damn, I was right there, bro. You wide open, man.
And you know what? I have no faith in his jumper. Right. If he developed some kind of reliable jumper, that would make his go-to move that he seems to have developed this year, that little, when he gets the ball and goes straight to the hole off of like 2 steps. Mm-hmm. It would make that a little bit more effective if you had to respect the jump shot on top of that. You know, if he could actually hit that, but he hasn't been able to hit that. His jump shot's been gone. And if somebody takes away that drive, you have games like you had tonight where he's not going to do nothing for you, man. And on the top of that, he really didn't do anything anywhere else on the court to help the Lakers. Because like I said, he was invisible man tonight.
Yeah, man. Those are the kind of things I worry about a lot when a dude shot. His shot actually looks pretty good. His form,
right?
You know,
his form
does. It kind of makes you feel like, I don't know what to do, bro. I don't know how to fix that. He is tall and lanky. That don't stop KD from being able to shoot, but
that don't stop a lot of dudes from being able to shoot these days.
Right, but it seems like something about how long this nigga's arms are, man. Like he has a kind of a catapult little thing going on to where if his shot touches the rim, that shit bounces straight off, dog.
Well, yeah. He kind of, it's like he's strong arming it or something. You're right, like a little catapult, and his arm is super straight at the end of his shot, and it comes carrying him off hard. And I think that actually makes it look worse than what it is, and maybe it affects his confidence some too, because the shot just looks bad. So I don't know what's up with him, man.
Yeah, the results look bad. His form looks good, but the results look bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what it is with him, man. I'm up and down on Brandon Ingram. Like I said before, if the right package came along for him, I wouldn't be that opposed to letting him go. But
you ready to give up on Brandon Ingram already, huh?
Like I said, only if the right thing came along. But he's, like you said, the shot is there. It looks like it's just not falling for him, and he's kind of got to get that together. You know what? I'm gonna give him some time though too, just like I'm giving Lonzo some time. I have seen improvement in his game, and it looks like he's still trying to get everything that he's improved on kind of under control and learn how to apply it properly throughout the course of the game on a consistent basis.
Well, you are starting to wonder about Ingram, and I'm starting to change my mind on Julius Randle. The more that I've been seeing of him this year, I feel like it's unfortunate that his contract is up right now and that we're trying to go swinging hard for big fish out there. And he may just be a casualty of that just because of a number situation.
Right.
But it looks like he could be a good part of our future. The same way goes with Jordan Clarkson. And I know at the beginning of the season, I was saying that Jordan Clarkson and Julius Randle may be on the trading block. And I still believe so. But now I'm just not as happy about it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't saying I was happy about it before, but I'm starting to look at it like, oh, shit. If we lose these guys and we don't end up getting nobody out from it, we're even going to be back to square one.
Yeah, and like I said from the beginning of the season, I like Julius Randle a lot, and I like the way that he's been playing. I like the role that he's accepted now that he's coming off the bench as the sixth man. I don't think that's where he wants to be, though, moving forward into the future. So it does not look like he's going to fit in for the Lakers because he's also probably going to be able to command big dollars. So unless he's willing to take a pay cut and on top of that, sign a little bit later, like you were saying before, so the Lakers can get some other guys in there first. I don't know how we're going to be able to keep him. Like you said, he's kind of a casualty to the numbers. They extended Nance already. Kuzma obviously is going to be there. He's shown that he can start. They've got him in the starting role. I don't know if they're going to switch them back once Nance comes back. And even if they do, that might actually be a good thing for the Lakers to have Kuzma coming off the bench. So
he plays well with Randle when Randle's playing the five.
Right. So it's just the problem that a lot of the Lakers' best players are playing the same position at this point in time. So it's a good problem to have, better than ones that they've had in the past. But they're going to have to figure out a way to resolve that, or I guess just ride out with Randle and see what happens in free agency.
Yeah, that's what it looks like is going to happen, man. It looks like just because of the numbers, Randle is going to have a tough time sticking around. And honestly, probably because of that haircut too, man. You know what I'm saying? He kind of fucks up the Lakers roster pick.
Sonic
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah. But you know what? That's the only thing, man. The fact that it feels like it's inevitable that he'll be on another team, I think that's might be why you might want to think about exploring trade options for him that help you as far as building in the future and not compromising cap space or anything of that nature. If there's something out there that allows you to do that, then you might really want to entertain that, because at this point right now, it just seems like there's not a spot on him for the Lakers, as whack as that is.
Yeah, man. So hopefully we can work something out, you know, to where he can end up staying on the team. Maybe we can figure somebody else to get rid of. Dang.
He's got to go, period. So without saying, I'll say his name too. No cough. Dang. Get out of here.
Damn the damn dang. Anyways, that's all I got for today, my man. I'm ready to go to sleep, dude, and get till tomorrow, man. Well, I'm ready for the Philadelphia game, dog. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that too. Philadelphia's got a young, exciting team. I remember I was wishing that the Lakers could tank and get Ben Simmons. And I'm looking at Brandon Ingram, and I'm wishing that they would have made it. But anyway, on to the 76ers, man. Hopefully we can get another win. Lakers can get a streak going on. That's what's up. Thank you for tuning in to the West Coast Crossover. Don't forget to visit our website. Go to our Facebook page. Download the podcast. We are on iHeartRadio now, as well as iTunes. We're also on Sketcher, Spreaker, all that other good stuff, YouTube. Listen to the West Coast Crossover. Catch up with the Lakers. I am JD.
And this is Jeremiah the Prophet. And we out.
We out.